This is Rakieem Fox, and today we're going to talk about two pieces of information that's happening in the video game sphere right now. One about some drama dealing with Nintendo, and the other about a new video game prospect that just came out, a new video game release that's coming around the corner. That's right. We're going to focus on the Nintendo thing first, and as it goes, says Nintendo of America contract workers issue complaints of mistreatment. And the article reads, says Nintendo of America might seemingly become the next major video game company to be hit with controversy as a former contract worker issued a complaint to Nintendo of America and global hiring from Aston Carter about mistreatment. Sure to have some wondering if Nintendo of America is also responsible for gender discrimination like Sony. That's a bit of a stretch, but I do see what they're going for when they're saying that as well, because Sony has been kind of rocky with their relations lately as well. So, the next paragraph says, Nintendo issued a statement noticing they didn't know of this mistreatment, and the less than reputable, well, they throw some shade at Kotaku's way, then reputable, Kotaku highlighted more claims of alleged mistreatment from other contract workers involved with Nintendo. So, as it goes to the next article, it says the complaints mostly involve Nintendo's less than stellar treatment of part-timers and contract workers. Now keep that in mind. The most important thing to take out of this thing when it comes to the quote-unquote mistreatment is that the people that are complaining are part-timers and contract workers, because this is going to feng shui into the next part of the article. But one of the statements, or the people that are complaining, they gave a list of bullet points of what they felt like was the mistreatment. For example, poor pay. Poor pay was one of the examples. They say a lack of benefits such as health insurance. Now, I'm not a genius, but I failed to see. Now, the poor pay, I guess it depends on what job you're doing as a part-timer or a contract worker that you're doing. It depends. However, if you're a part-timer and a contract worker, I highly doubt you are, what's the word I'm looking here for? You are in any way, shape, or form supposed to get any type of health insurance benefits in any way, shape, or form. Why would you? You're a part-timer / contract worker. Why would you need health benefits? That I can understand for people who are full-time. But let's continue. Another bullet point they said was not receiving equal treatment as full-time staff despite contributing an equal amount of work or working with Nintendo an equal amount of time. So it seems like if these must be the contract workers. Might have been working with Nintendo an equal amount of time. But there's no way in the 136 levels of hell you can tell me that a part-timer gets the right to complain about not receiving equal treatment as a full-time staff member. They're there the entire shift and possibly overtime. A part-timer, I don't believe, has to do overtime unless the boss probably asks him, but I don't know how Nintendo works when it comes to, staffing and all that jazz. But there's no way, once again, a part-timer has the right to complain about not getting equal treatment like a full-time staff. Full-time staff is the working horse. They're putting in the soil work, so to speak. Now, amount of work or working with Nintendo an equal amount of time. Working with Nintendo an equal amount of time. Nintendo's been around since the 1800s, but that's the Japanese division. I don't know about the American division. All I know is they seem to be splitting hairs when they made that statement. Another bullet point they were talking about when it came to mistreatment was making it difficult to transition from part-time to a full-time position at Nintendo. So, it seems like there was people who did, or the people staff that's complaining, a valid complaint possibly, but I highly disagree, making it difficult to transition from part-time to full-time. Now, people who are trying to transition to full-time probably do like working there. They're like, okay, I like working here, I want to work here, but it doesn't work for me because I'm more of a morning person, or I got kids and all that stuff. And so they're saying Nintendo is making that hard for them. They're putting the whole blame on Nintendo. Once again, like I said, keep in mind, you gotta remember, the people that are voicing their complaints are part-timers and contract workers, but mostly it's the part-timer thing. I can understand how that would be a problem, but I'm positive there's other variables that go into that. The next plot point they go down to receiving reprimands for airing grievances and concerns during open meetings, one of which may have led to the incident discussed in the quote-unquote NLRB complaints. And in case you don't know what that means, I think that means National Labor Relations Board. Now, if you don't know what the National Labor Relations Board is, it's an organization, it's a federal agency organization. It's a federal agency that helps assist quote-unquote private citizens when it comes to trying to work or get benefits or rights demanded, be it they have a union or not. That's what an NLRB stands for, and that's what the complaint they issued. So incident discussed in the NLRB complaint. So it seems like they went to them about this complaint. Now, my problem is, I do see what they're trying to say, but once again, the important word to take from that is part-timers and contract workers. So I don't see receiving reprimands for airing grievances. You're a part-timer. You're over here, a part-timer or a contract worker. Virtually, if you're a part-timer, that's one thing. Contract worker is like a fancy way of saying freelance. But if you're over here causing trouble and you're getting mad because they're giving you reprimands because you're causing trouble, you're not even a fool. You're not even that important to the company that they need to worry about you. So I would imagine they would give you reprimands like, hey, you are just a guest. You are a guest in their home, especially for at least for the contract workers. As for the part-timers, that's a whole different story. But once again, you're only there for like, what, 4 something hours? I don't really think they're going to really take your opinion seriously. It says concerns during open meetings. So apparently part-timers and contract workers get to go to open meetings. It could be online. It could be people actually there. A lot of people do like working from home now due to this whole pandemic that happened. So a lot of people want to work from home, which I'm completely fine with. If you are more comfortable working there, that's cool. One of which many have led to the incident discussed in NLRB. So it led to an incident that they went to the NLRB about with the complaint. Now, the next bullet point says difficulties communicating grievances to Nintendo higher-ups leading to quote-unquote misunderstandings and mishandling of situations. So apparently it looks like they tried to go to Nintendo higher-ups about it at first, and they're saying they had difficulty trying to air their grievances out to Nintendo higher-ups, which led to a misunderstanding. Well, I'm not sure if Nintendo said once. Remember, Nintendo said they had no idea this was going on. So if anything came to misunderstanding or mishandling the situation, it was all on whoever aired out the grievance and went to the NLRB about it. So, and that's all the bullet points about that. Before we get back to it, the last thing it says in the article says, at the time, Nintendo has not addressed these accusations. Now, mind you, if you're a part-timer or a contract worker, I don't see the benefit of you going to the NLRB. But maybe a part-timer, but a contract worker, and you're going to the NLRB, a federal agency, about grievances you have with a company. Oh man, I don't think they're going to listen to you. The fact that, and also remember, Nintendo does not have unions. Nintendo of America doesn't have a union. Nintendo in Japan, I don't believe has a union. Nintendo, but this is about Nintendo of America, does not have a union. So why somebody that's a part-timer / freelancer worker, or what was the term they used? Contract worker was going there poisoning the well into America. Not that Nintendo of America is already not a shit to show with the human resources and all the localization influence they've been doing lately. Minus all that jazz that I do not agree with them doing. This is one of the few things where I can't see who's ever complained about it. I don't really see them having much of an argument I don't see them having much of a leg to stand on when it comes to the legal side to a certain degree of dealing with Nintendo of America. But enough about that. In other news, Soul Hackers 2 has a new game coming out. Now, the article talks about they have put forth effort to educate prospective buyers on its main cast of heroes. This new video featuring the seductive and simultaneously capable Milady. Milady is apparently one of the characters you're playing as in this game, disclosing both her backstory and physical ability, and bound to have many excited to play with her. So, in the next paragraph says, Milady's introductory video is rife with all types of things that is going to get people hyped for the game that's coming out. They'll probably introduce who the voice actor is over there as well. And they also put an article, and it also has English subtitles via closed captions. See what they did there because of the whole localization thing and, people when you get the English cast in there and the localization teams, they F everything up by injecting whatever nonsense they're trying to put in there because apparently they have an agenda. But I digress. They show so far the game looks good. It looks like a what's the word I'm looking for here? Looks like a standard turn-based RPG, you know, kind of like Persona or Shin Megami Tensei, for example. And they also say in the article that Soul Hackers 2 is set to make its way onto the PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS4, and PS5 on August 25th in Japan and a day later in the West. So there has not been any announcement of when it's coming over here to the West. So far, from what I'm seeing, it looks like it's going to be a very cinematic story. The graphics look decent. It's nothing special, but it works for what it is. Because to be honest, I will hear you have people saying, "Oh, most video games look like this." And you know, nowadays, like Babylon's Fall, for example. "Oh, this game looks like a PS3 game or so and so." But to be honest, there hasn't really been much of a when it comes to video games and how janky they are nowadays, and that goes for every one of them, even the best looking ones on these consoles that are next gen, most of these games don't really look all that different from one another anyway. So I don't really see that as a negative. It doesn't matter to me, even from an artistic standpoint, as long you can have the most crappiest looking games, but as long as you try to go out of your way to at least give it its own identity, its own style, even if it looks like a quote-unquote PS3 game. I mean, it was like that, what was that one video I was watching where one guy was trying to talk crap about Halo Infinite, said, "Oh, it looks like a PS2 game." Come on, man. Most of this stuff is modeled in polygons, filters, and all this other stuff. There's only so much you can tweak to express the artistic expression you're trying to do in games. So, I haven't really seen much else on the news. I don't even believe I've even heard of Soul Hackers 1. But overall, looks like they're focusing, it's going to be very narrative driven, focusing on one character named Milady, and you're going to get introduced to all the other supporting characters that she's going to be interacting with in this video game. I'm not sure if it's going to have any DLC or any DLC is planned or anything in that shape, way, and form, but overall, I might pick this up.